those that were in our Bible study, we know that these are songs that were often sung by the pilgrims as they were going up the mountain to the temple of Jerusalem, or as they were going up to Jerusalem on a pilgrimage. And so it begins this way: I lift up my eyes to the hills, from where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore. So I want you to remember, He will keep your coming in and your going out. Okay? So, raise the Venetian blinds. After a sermon about bees, how about a story about bewilderment? Except we're not going to use bees, we're going to use birds. So we're going to talk about the nature of barn swallows. Barn swallows build nests. Wichita County barn swallows, I'm just going to be bold and say this, Lynn, love to build nests over entrances, like your patio door entrance, okay, or your front door entrance. We are blessed with barn swallow nests, both at the front and at the patio. They build nests, they lay eggs, they eat mosquitoes and other pests. And so no matter what kind of deposit gets left at our patio, we love our barn swallows. So last Sunday afternoon, after I picked up Tom from the hospital, we went home and we took just a little nap. We were both exhausted. And there was, at least at Camp Talbert, a powerful but brief thunderstorm. Did you guys have a little bit of a thunderstorm Sunday afternoon? Unbeknownst to us, the patio door blew open and we found a very wet floor and one bewildered barn swallow flapping and banging into the windows high above us. The bird continues to fly to the high windows, even though those windows don't open. The patio door is left open, as was recommended by Google and by several master naturalists. Instead of one swallow flying out, 3 more flew in. They all keep flying into the closed windows at the top of our windowed cupola, which is 30 feet above ground level. We are unable to reach them, but reason that the birds might follow the patio lights outside when it gets dark. I'm a little nervous, I confess. I worry because when night comes, other creatures wake up. Creatures I do not want to come in the open door. So this is the thing about swallows, though. When it gets dark, they go to sleep. They don't care about the open patio door or the patio lights. They just find a little perch on the cupola windows 30 feet high, and they go to sleep. They're probably enjoying the fireworks show before they fall asleep. So, point 1, these are important. You might want to write these down or just remember them. We are often led astray from the ways that God intends. Birds were never meant to live in people houses without supervision. People also often get themselves into predicaments they were not intended to be in. Do I hear an amen? Amen. So the birds rest for the evening. Sometime at dark, the door closes, because I am inclined to keep all the doors closed at Camp Talbert at night. Did I mention how exasperated and how the hope is just draining from me? I'm thinking, oh, they could be with us for a very long time. I have overnight guests to entertain. Birds are not very tidy house guests, if you catch my drift. Next morning, same thing. 4 birds flying high and having no luck, only bewilderment. And me, only worry. Now, because somebody thought it would be good to have a flow through, the front door is open, where the front door barn swallows live, and the patio door is open as well. And the baby birds are making noises. There are nests with baby birds front and back. And I am sure the birds will react to the noise of the baby birds and follow it. But I also worry that more birds will fly in. Some of the baby birds are learning to fly. Okay. I leave a little dish of water on the table at the entrance to the patio, thinking the birds are certainly thirsty and exhausted. Maybe that would point them in the right direction. We try to stay as scarce as possible, but I'm peeking around the corner. I am becoming desperate. I am having a dinner at noon with out-of-town family, and it's getting hot, messy, and I have better things to do than watch 2 open doors from afar, too afar to shoo any new swallows who might come into the house away. We shut the front door. A little later, 2 birds fly out the open patio door, just on their own. Good for them. We begin to celebrate. Point 2, the birds had to be brought low to find their freedom. It's risky to go low and be vulnerable, because that's where the people were. Some took the hint. They came low, they flew out the ground floor patio door, and 2 remained in the cupola, too high to find freedom. Remember that, people. Too high, and you can't find freedom. The other 2 swallows continue to hover at the top. The second door is finally shut because, it's 110, for Pete's sake. It's too hot to leave the door open. And we leave to run errands, and Tom is left home because he doesn't run very fast right now. Thank you, Tom. So he's sitting and working, and a bird zips down to the 2nd floor windows. Big open space. You can see the sky, but those windows don't open either. And he's busy working, and suddenly this bird just falls off the 2nd floor window ledge, crashes into the Venetian blinds, and lands lifeless on the floor. Hard. That was very harsh. That was hard. After Tom told us the story when we got home, that was not good. Anyway, I don't know if it was exhaustion or lack of nourishment or water, but we lost one. So meanwhile, the 4th and final bird has made its way into the dining room. We're getting closer. The dining room's on the 1st floor. There are windows, and the bird is trying to get out these windows. There are no doors that we can shut to contain the birds in that area. So my sister-in-law and I are just like this, woo, 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 making ourselves big and hooping. I don't even know if birds have ears. I'm sure they can hear their baby birds, but I don't know what they thought about the whooping. But that one bird stayed, and my brother opened some windows, and the bird, as we kind of, that way, the bird left. Yay! The birds are gone. And that bird wasn't the only soul that felt freedom. We were all just, and you can see this coming, point 3. When God closes a door, God opens a window. We all know how this feels, right? Right. I must say I was pretty ashamed at how upset I was at those unexpected or bewildering circumstances. I can only imagine how the birds felt. I worry when I should trust God. I know we have all chosen to enter doors that seemed appealing, only to realize that we can't find our own way out. As I pondered how worried, bewildered, exasperated I was at not being able to lead the birds out the door in which they had come, I wondered how God feels when trying to lead us back to safety and abundant life. Point 4. The birds are watched over by God. We are watched over by God. God is calling us from worry to freedom. God watches over us even when we don't take the correction. God neither slumbers nor sleeps because God is watching over us. Amen. Amen. Only by going low, humbling ourselves, are we able to see the exits that God makes for us from our poor choices. Monday, after the bird company left, after the out-of-town company left, after everything was taken care of, I was sitting outside looking back at the house, at the big windows, and thinking, yikes, why didn't we make a way to open those windows? But we didn't. And I was looking at the swallow's nest and the little baby birds that were right above the doorway and the many windows above me that looked like they were portals to the sky. And then I noticed the windows in our family room that are by the patio door. And it hit me. Open the Venetian blinds. If I had only opened the Venetian blinds, maybe as they had swooped low, they would have seen the backyard, they would have seen the daylight that was there, and they would have been able to maneuver just a little closer to the freedom by the patio door. God would have raised the Venetian blinds for us. If the swallows had been able to see the sky in the daylight from the first floor windows, maybe they would have seen the patio door. Maybe they would have recognized how close they were to an exit, back to their place, to the wide open spaces. I didn't realize that if I had enticed the swallows with a little bit lower window, the results might have been different. God opened the Venetian blinds for me, humbling me in my understanding now of what might have been a good idea if I had just paid attention to God and the Spirit working within me instead of worrying and being bewildered and exasperated. We are starting a study on the book of Isaiah in our Bible study. In the book of Isaiah, Isaiah, who is God's mouthpiece, a prophet to Judah and Jerusalem, he's convicting them of their sins. He's calling them out. Maybe he's calling them out a patio door to a new kind of freedom. They are in a terrible mess. Sometimes we see what a mess we are in and we keep going for the heights. We do not know how to become vulnerable and go low and take the escape offered by God from a place where we don't belong. Even when we are so lost and trying to find the opening that will set us free on our own. Oops, not a good thing. God still opens the Venetian blinds and points the way. How humbling to know that I could have done differently. While I thought how dumb those birds must be, God was working on me. God opens the Venetian blinds so we can see our way to freedom. I cannot worry my way to freedom. And so I ask you all, instead of worry, instead of being the anxious presence, what if God is calling us to be the non-anxious presence that will help others be led to freedom? Not worry, but with humility and clarity, witness to who holds us and who holds the future. Our hymn of invitation is, "His eye is on the sparrow." When you sing sparrow,